Hey Chamber members, Alan Waters here, your Director of Marketing and Communications at the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here with a Membership 101 edition to our Business 101 series. In this, I'm going to be going through our typical Membership 101 presentation, going over some questions that we are typically asked or have been asked before, and also just showing you what membership entails here at the Chamber and how to navigate some of the things like our website and Chamber Master. So let's dive on in. First and foremost, our staff is 3 people. We have Steve Bafuto, who is our president and CEO. We have Marissa Bowman-Smith, who is our vice president of membership engagement, and then me, as I mentioned, as our director of marketing and communications. About the chamber itself, this chamber was created in 2003 when a merger happened between the Blacksburg Chamber of Commerce and the Christiansburg Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary, just these past 2 years, because the merger started in 03, ended in 04, and was complete in 04 rather. So that was but we also have 75 years as of 2025 of chamber support in Montgomery County. That Christiansburg Montgomery County Chamber was formed, its first pieces formed in 1950. So that's really awesome. We have our website, montgomerycc.org. This was launched January of 2024, brand new website. We think it really became a lot more user-friendly than our former website. There's a lot of ways to get information with that. Staying up to date, how do you do this? You can do so through our Monday morning message, as well as our newsletter that is a monthly newsletter that you're able to access. And then social media is the most direct, fast way to stay up to date with what's going on at the Chamber. There's always a lot happening, but we're on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And that is the quickest way. Like I said, we post updates when everything happens. You're able to hear from other members through our blog, our podcast, our monthly member highlight, as well as our Business 101 series and others. We now record our Eggs and Issues, Lunch and Learn, small business workshops. So there's a lot of way to stay in the loop with what's going on at the Chamber. Programming, there are a lot of things that we do. We've got a lot of Chamber events. We'll talk to you about member events, how you can add that a little later in the presentation. But we have a lot of these that are available both in person or online, as I mentioned a second ago. So what can Chamber membership do for you? This gets asked a lot. And it also a question I like to say when someone is thinking, oh, I'm too small for the Chamber. Oh, the Chamber doesn't make sense right now. I really want you to evaluate why you're saying that and what the Chamber does. Because we have a lot of things that happen here at the Chamber, and we meet a lot of our businesses where they are. It's not a one-size-fits-all here at the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. We have 4 core words here. That is invest, connect, engage, and prosper. There are many, many different ways that you can do all of these. I'm just going to touch on some of them as we talk through here. Investment comes in multiple forms. It can be through monetary amounts, it can be through time, and it can be through bandwidth. And so we're going to talk on some of these here. One is case groups. Being involved with a case group is a really good way to invest in your chamber membership and invest in your business. Being a part of committees, leadership in River Valley is a really great way to invest in yourself. And then Invest for Success is our sponsorship and advertising campaign that we do here through the Chamber, where you're able to bundle different pieces that you may already be spending as a Chamber member together. And that way, 1, you're saving, 2, you're guaranteeing information. We'll talk about all of this in more depth throughout the presentation. To connect, we've got a lot of different ways. We've got our ribbon cuttings, business after hours, the community events like I mentioned earlier, as well as our business directory. Engagement comes through our ambassador program, Eggs and Issues, Lunch and Learns, and small business workshops. And to reach prosper, I like to say you first have to make sure that you are investing, you're connecting, you're engaging, or you may never reach prosper. Some people will join the Chamber and immediately have that, but that is a exception. It's not the rule. To reach prosper, you have to make sure that you're putting in that commitment. Prospering comes through referrals, education, recognition, and community building, which is what we're all about here at the Chamber. So CASE groups, I said I was going to talk about all this in more detail. CASE stands for Connect, Achieve, Support, Engage. These are referral-based networking groups that we have here at the Chamber office. They meet at various times. We have 5 groups right now. We have CASE 1, which is our Tuesday AM group. That is 8 to 9 a.m. CASE 2 is our Wednesday 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. group. CASE 3 is Tuesdays 4 to 5 p.m. CASE 4 is Thursdays 12 to 1 p.m. And then CASE 5 is Wednesdays noon until 1 p.m. I know the numbering system can get a little confusing. They were named based on when they were created, not when they happen. But we do have a Tuesday morning option, a Tuesday afternoon option, a Wednesday morning option, a Wednesday at noon option, and a Thursday at noon option that can meet a lot of people's schedules. With these groups, it is 1 member per industry. We had over $8 million in referrals in 2024 that passed through this group. But the biggest focus of these groups, yes, we want to see money passing, we want to see referrals happening, but we put a big emphasis on one-to-ones. Getting to know each other's businesses a lot more, getting to know each other a lot more really builds the connections that will in turn lead to more referrals. But we like to say, if you don't know, like, and trust someone, you're not going to pass a referral. And so that's the point of those one-to-ones, to really get you to know someone, make sure that you're trusting them and trusting what they do in their business, and making sure you like one another so that you're going to pass business to each other. Committees. We have a lot that goes on with our committees. We have multiple committees here at the Chamber. We have the Business Resource and Development, Talent and Education, Infrastructure, Legislative. All of those committees are forming the strategic direction of what happens at the Chamber. They are the ones that are sitting down and helping us complete our strategic goals every year. And then we also have our Women's Leadership and our Awards and Recognition committees. Women's Leadership is focused entirely on planning the Women's Leadership Conference. And the Awards and Recognition Committee is different than our other committees in that you have to be a former award recipient and invited to join that committee. Other committees, if you're interested in joining, please reach out to us. We'd love to have you involved. We can get you in touch with those board chairs. Each of these committees meets on its own schedule. Both in-person and Zoom options are available depending on the group, depending on what's happening at the time. The committees, they discuss their agenda, the annual goals, and how they really fit into that strategic direction, as I mentioned earlier. Each committee has a chairperson who helps lead the group and facilitate the group. This is often a board member. I believe right now it is all board member led and board member chaired. That's not always the case, but as of right now, that is the case. Leadership New River Valley is a nationally recognized program. This is a 10-month course that's focused on building leadership skills, community engagement, and local knowledge, as well as your own personal journey as a leader. We accept applications for this in the fall. The courses start itself in February after an application and interview process, and they run through November. Each week, it's once a month, except in November where we have our final retreat and graduation that same month. But each month is focused on a different area of leadership here in the community, a different area of things going on behind the scenes that many of our members that go through this program say they never ever knew that's what happened here in the New River Valley. So it's a great way of learning not only more about yourself, learning more about other leaders in the community, but learning how our community really runs and how you can be a part of that. As I mentioned earlier, Invest for Success is a really great way to get involved here at the Chamber. If you're already planning to spend marketing money, if you're already planning to spend advertising money, or if you're already planning to come to events. Through IFS, you're able to guarantee pricing, you're able to guarantee spots. We've had in the past where things like our bocce tournament have sold out entirely through Invest for Success, and so there was never an opportunity for it to open to the public. Other things like our annual dinner where we have a lot of tickets go pretty quickly. This is the best way to say, if you know you're going to that annual dinner, go ahead, get your ticket, get your place secured. You do not have to spend a certain amount to be a part of IFS. There are benefits that get added if you reach certain milestones. You're able to go on the banners and other things depending on how much you spend and what you're investing into this program. But it is not a requirement. We have had members that spent $50 that are a part of Invest for Success. We've had members that have spent $10,000 as a part of Invest for Success. This program typically runs mid-fall to very early in the new year. It's usually something like September to February. That's not always the case. And like I mentioned, it is entirely dependent on what sells out first. If something sells out, it is no longer available, and there's unfortunately nothing we can do about that. It's a first come, first serve situation. Ribbon cuttings. Everybody can celebrate a ribbon cutting. We like to say that if you have a reason to celebrate, you have a reason to have a ribbon cutting. Many of our members will have this when they first join the chamber, if they're opening a new location, but we've also had others celebrate 10 years here in the New River Valley. We've had some celebrate 5 years in business. Others have had new programs, new launches, or maybe new management that they want to celebrate. If you have a reason to celebrate, you have a reason to have a ribbon cutting. We help market and invite key local figures like the local government to these events, as well as our ambassadors. We will post and schedule an event on our social media. We have over 7,000 followers across our different social media platforms that we'll be reaching out to, and this is free for our members. We do have some select enhanced ribbon cutting packages that are available for $200. The biggest difference is, I like to tell people, most of the time when you see me at a ribbon cutting, I'm going to be walking around with one of these, being out there taking pictures. The next day, I'm able to post those pictures directly to social media. That's not the case with the enhanced ribbon cutting package. The enhanced ribbon cutting package, I'm going to be coming out with a professional camera, usually more than one camera, and getting professional photos as well as video, and you'll get a gallery of roughly 40 to 60 pictures of your ribbon cutting, and a brief 30 to 60 second highlight film of what's going on at that enhanced ribbon cutting package. Business After Hours is one of our most wildly gone to events. We have members attend this of all kinds of businesses, all kinds of makeup. It is free for members. It happens generally once a month. Great networking. We have on average between 75 and 150 chamber members at any given Business After Hours. And it's a really great way of just getting out and meeting a lot of people. There's usually raffles, food, drinks, and fellowship. Each one is different, happening at a different member location. But this is a really great way for you to get out there and network. And if you're ever at a Business After Hours and you're not sure who to talk to, come up, talk to a staff member, talk to one of our ambassadors who are wearing an ambassador name tag, or talk to another member. Our members are more than welcome to invite you to Business After Hours. But if you need that extra step, we understand. Like I said, come talk to a staff member, talk to an ambassador with that name tag on. All right, our chamber member business directory. This is a really big deal. It is a passive free benefit as a part of your membership. And so it is a big deal for you to be a part of this. We have over 750 member listings. During a period of April 1st, 2024 to April 1st of 2025, we had 771,588 unique searches, 166,875 direct page hits, 5,923 website link outs. What this really means for you and your business. On average, each of our members was searched for 1,029 times. They were clicked on average 226 times. And on average, they had 8 direct website visits. Now, compared to the numbers from the year before, this is an increase of about 300 times you being searched, an increase of about 100 times where people were clicked on, and there was a slight decrease from 11 to 8 in terms of the direct website visits. The reason for this is we've really been pushing that you need to make sure you have all of your information filled out on your business directory, because similar to Google, your Google profile, your Google pages, Bing, My Places, what have you, if you have all of your information in one place, someone is infinitely more likely to click on and go to your information or call you or contact you from that page. And that's what we've seen here is we've had more members fully fill out their business directory. They've been contacted directly through the directory. They've had that information accessible to members or community people looking at that so that they can call them directly, contact them directly instead of having to go to the website and look for more information. So that is why we've seen an increase in searches and clicks, but a slight decrease in direct website visits because they've got the information they need. They don't have to go search for it on your website. We do have the availability to help you build your business directory for a fee, but I will show you how you can go through and update that here a little bit later and why it's so important. So our ambassador program, I talked about this earlier very briefly for Business After Hours. Our ambassadors are a large part of why our chamber is able to run the way our chamber runs. This team consists of volunteers who are committed to building member engagement. The ambassadors focus on raising community awareness of our activities. They educate new and potential members about the benefits of membership, and they serve as liaisons between the board, the staff, and our chamber members. Being a part of an ambassador team is a really great way for you to get out in front of more people. We also have a lot of those that go through this process. There is an application, generally opens towards the end of the year, but we are able to review applications on a rolling basis if there's an available spot on our ambassador team. You get special invitations to chamber events, additional recognition for yourself and your business. We've got you listed on our website, in our chamber magazine, and we do highlights across our social media. It's a great opportunity to build networks with new members. You are some of the first people who will ever talk to our new members. You've got potential media coverage from attendance at chamber events. At every chamber event, our ribbon cuttings in specifics, we've got our ambassadors that are sitting there holding the ribbon. We've got one of our leads generally is presenting the certificate. So you've got additional opportunity to just get your face out there. You're also meeting local businesses and community leaders. I want to shout out, this is being recorded 2025, to Ashanti Chamberlain and Laura Davis, who are current ambassador leads. If you're viewing this at a later time, this might be different, but thank you to them for all the work they've done this year. Let's talk about some of our programming. So I'm going to say our three big signature events. These are always ongoing here at the chamber. So Eggs and Issues. This is a breakfast outing. It is held monthly. Generally, it's the first Thursday, 8 to 9:30 a.m. Sometimes that has to change depending on the availability of what our speaker is going to be. The legislative update, for example, always shifts available based on the availability of our legislators. These are always community-centric topics, things that are more directly impacting the community and the businesses within the community. It is $30 for members to attend, and that does include breakfast. Then we have our Lunch and Learns. These are generally held quarterly. They're usually 11:30 to 1 p.m., and these are more business-centric topics, things that are focused on the business owners a little bit more than the community. This is $20 for members and includes lunch. In years past, including 2025, we have had a grant that is allowed for the first 20 registrants for Lunch and Learn to be able to register at no cost. That is dependent on us continuing to get that grant, but at $20 for the lunch and education, it's almost impossible to get a lunch elsewhere and not spend $20. Then we have our small business workshops. These are morning meetings, generally held 9 to 10:30 a.m. They're usually held here at the chamber boardroom, but we do have both in-person and Zoom options for this. It is free for our members to attend. We do have some exceptions to this, like our ABC rules and regulations is generally held somewhere available to our restaurants, nonprofit, other members who may need to go through that ABC course. That has to be in person because you cannot get the certification without being there in person. But generally, these are held here at that chamber office. And like I said, they are free for our members to attend. It's a really great way to learn more information. They are almost always specifically business-related topics, but we hit multiple different industries. We've had social media, AI, nonprofit strategies, networking, business law update. There's a whole list of this. Please make sure to check out the website for more information. All right, and then we're going to talk about Chambermaster, and I'm going to get in here and show you Chambermaster in just a second. Chambermaster is your one-stop shop for everything membership. On this platform, you're able to log in, pay your invoices, register for events, post job openings, submit your own events, announce news releases. You're able to list member-to-member or local specials, maintain account information, update your business directory listing, and so much more. With your business, you have one login per representative. For the representatives, if you own your own business, that should be you. Any employees you want to have access to this. If you are working at a larger company, a larger corporation, or at a bank, you may not necessarily have this login, but someone at your institution should. So if you are working at one of those institutions and you think that might need to be you, talk to us. We'll make sure that the person who is the primary listed for your account is aware and gives us permission to set up an account for you. But then we can get a login per representative for that. All right, let's look a little bit more at Chambermaster. Got to get out of my presentation here. This is the back end side of how it looks for us here at the Chamber. This is what happens when you log in. This is the main page you will see when you log in. I'm logged in up here as the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. Through here is where you're able to access different information. Up along the top, you see our directory, events, different resources, reports, things that you're able to run. Over here on the left side, you can see where you're able to update information. This is your personal information. You can do your login information there. Then you've got your company. This is kind of going to tell you if you've got everything complete that you can do through your business directory. I'll show you again how effective it can be. We've got your organization information, making sure you've got your right phone number, email, all of that stuff going on. In fact, while I'm here, we don't have this fax number anymore. I'm going to get rid of that, save those changes. That's what you see whenever you make any changes. You're able to go through additional website information, categories, logos, photo, video, what have you. That's where you're going to go for this. Billing, you can also make payments on here, see what you've got. The shopping cart is if you're trying to register for multiple events, you're able to pay for multiple things at one time. Go back to the home page here. You'll see upcoming events here where you can register. You've got the button that'll let you do that. You're able to refer others through this program and see updates, news updates from different chamber members right here in this little feed. If you go to the directory, here's the biggest difference between our directory here versus the directory on the website. Through this directory, some of our members have additional information. What I like to say is on our online directory, you're going to find the office phone number and the hello@ email address. Here you may be able to find some of the information for direct representatives and get in a little bit more of the details. Through our events, as this loads here, this is where you're going to see things coming up. You can set the date ranges here. You're able to add an event or manage your events through this. The biggest difference, I will say, is if you're coming in and looking at these events through Chambermaster, you can add more information when you add an event. You can include pictures. You can include some of those additional details that you cannot through our website, and I'll show you that difference here in just a moment. You're able also to go through some of our resources and reports, be able to see, how many people have been searching for you, some of those things directly through this. And then you've got the news where you're able to post your own news releases. You're able to post news specials, job postings, those kind of things. And those populate to our website. The big difference is local specials and member-to-member specials. If you want people to be able to see it, you need to make sure that you are marking this as a local special, that it is public. Here on the public local specials, you'll be able to find those on our website. Member-to-member only specials through Chambermaster are only accessible through Chambermaster. That's the biggest difference. So make sure you're selecting local and public if you want multiple people to be able to view it directly from our website. If you want only people to see it through Chambermaster, you can do that, but I highly recommend going through this. With news releases as well, whenever you post a news release, it will update on your business directory page. So I'll show you, how that kind of looks here in just a second. This is our main website right here. You're able to come in. If you're thinking about joining us, that's where you go. You can click the directory, events, listen to our podcast, look at those local specials like I just mentioned, or you can log in through your Chambermaster right here. On our main page, you're able to kind of see some of the highlights of what's going on, access some of the things for our business directory, You can get the new strategic direction, see what we're working here at the Chamber towards. You can look at the member magazine, see what new members have joined recently. But let's get into the details up here. The membership tab, a lot of those who are already listening to this video are already a part of this, but this is where you can go if you want to join Case Group. You just click on that Case Group. Same for Ambassadors, Leadership New River Valley. That's where you'll find information for those. The About, you can learn more about our chamber, see who our staff is. You can contact us if you don't already. Go to that staff page. You can get our direct emails. It's a little bit faster. You can learn about our Chamber Foundation and all of the things that we support here in our community. And then you can also give a recognition to our 40 Under 40 and Hall of Fame through that About tab. Events is a big long list, but we've got an alphabetical order of all the events we do here at the Chamber, and I'll show you the events calendar here in a second. The directory goes right to our directory. Resources, this is where you can learn more about Invest for Success, see job postings, see what those member local specials are, check out that member magazine, look at the member news updates that have happened. You can also see our relocation packet if you're considering moving here, if you want to sponsor that relocation packet for any given year, or if you've got someone that is going to be moving that you want to have more information. Then we have the Wise Choice Healthcare Alliance, which is a healthcare option for chamber members specifically. You can learn more about that there. Under our More tab, you're able to find our member highlights, our podcast, Business 101, blog. A lot of our content-based series are here, as well as other local things that are popping up, like a restaurant week, which is about to happen in June as I record this, but is not going to be there at all times. Same with Buy Local Bingo. That is happening right now. Our minority-owned business membership raffle ended in May, but we've still got some information here available for it for when it opens next year. And then we've got business spotlights that, depending on your membership tier, is an additional benefit as being a member, that you always have that specialized spotlight here on our website. So over here, this is our business directory and kind of what that looks like. I'm going to show you, as I mentioned, while it's broken down by category, the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce, I've gone back and forth on if I'm going to update this or not, but I feel like not many people are searching for us on our own web platform. Maybe I'm wrong. We do have information here that is correct phone number, correct address, website, and everything. I will say this is our old logo. We've since added Invest, as you can tell up here versus here. So that is outdated. We do have this live Google map that people can access and get access to. We link to our Facebook. We also have Instagram and LinkedIn, as I mentioned earlier, so we're not linked there. And some of this other information is kind of outdated. That is on us. That's why it's really important to do this. We have highlights where you can go and see some of those important things through that. That's a really great use of the highlights section. But here's where I talk about why it's so important that you are updating this information. When you look at our images, this is all very, very outdated. These images, these first three, that is our old location in Christiansburg. We have not been there since 2019. So this is very outdated. All three of these staff members no longer work here at the Chamber. We appreciate everything they've done, but they no longer work here. When you have people going to your business directory page, if you have outdated information like this, they will take note and they will look elsewhere. That is why it's so important that you keep this updated and you fill out as much information as you possibly can. Over to our events calendar. There's a lot going on. Like I said, this is June of 2025. You can see everything we've got going on here at the Chamber, but this is a great way to stay focused, see what's going on and getting involved. You see Chamber-specific events as well as community events through here, and you can submit your own by clicking that little plus button. This is where I kind of talk about, you do have less specifics that you can do. You can still put the title, the date, time, all that's happening here. You just can't add pictures or videos or anything specific. Once you submit it for approval, we get it on our side, and then we can work with you to get those things on the main calendar. So there's a lot of information that's happened here. I want to say, here's our pop-up, by the way, where you can subscribe to the Monday Morning Message, the newsletter, and get that information. If you have questions about anything that has happened here, feel free to email either myself, marketing@montgomerycc.org, Marissa at membership@montgomerycc.org, or Steve, president@montgomerycc.org, because we'd be happy to answer your questions. I am going to get into some previously asked questions so that we can kind of look at that and how that goes for you. What are some realistic first steps I should take as a new member to get involved? The presentation has got a lot of options: case, ambassadors, invest for success, committees. As a brand new member, that can very well be overwhelming. Here's what I recommend that you do this month. Whatever month you join, I recommend you go to Business After Hours, and I recommend that you go to one ribbon cutting, at least one ribbon cutting in that month. If you have availability, I recommend you reach out and talk about visiting a case group. But the two things that I would recommend before anything else is go to Business After Hours, go to a ribbon cutting, see how those events run, what happens, meet new people and talk to them about the chamber. And then the next thing that is something you do on your own time, not a networking event, is make sure your business directory page is updated. Those are some of the three most important things you can do, is making sure that you're investing, connecting, and engaging so that you can get to that prosper. So, can you explain the difference between case groups and committees? Absolutely. While they're both regular meetings, the difference comes down to, for our committees, these are not passing referrals. You are working with us to create events. You're working with us to help maintain some of the stuff we're here. You're also talking about issues and bringing them to our attention, making sure that we're aware of those things. Case groups are referral-based networking. You're meeting every single week, as opposed to committees generally meet maybe once a month, maybe once every other month. Case groups meet every single week. And case groups, you are limited. It is one person per industry. You cannot be in another referral group such as BNI. And it is much more direct on trying to garner more sales, but also trying to create and establish more relationships. It is not a one or the other. If you're interested in being in a committee and in a case group, you absolutely can do that. Please feel free to reach out to us with more questions about that. What exactly happens at Business After Hours? You sit there and you eat some food, you have a nice drink, and you talk to fellow members. There are no expectations with our Business After Hours. There's not anything that you have to do or not do, but it's a great way to come out and just meet others and talk to them, see what's going on. There are often raffles, other things that will happen maybe through that business, and depending on where it is, there are other things that may be able to be done. But the biggest thing is it's just there to talk, network, and meet new people. If I do the enhanced ribbon cutting package, how do I get the photo and video content? Great question. What we'll do is we'll send you an email link afterwards to a Google Drive link, and that way you're able to access all of the information on that folder. We will keep everything in that folder for at least a year, but that is how you would get access to that information, is through a Google Drive link. What is the turnaround time for submitting something to be included in the Monday morning message or the Engage blog? Great question. These are actually both sponsored opportunities through that Invest for Success program. So when you're doing that, you're signing up to be a sponsor, and we will work with you to select a specific date. That generally is going to happen at the very beginning of the year or very end of the year before, so that we can get those dates scheduled for 2026, what have you. And you will know well ahead of time, hey, this is the date that I've got. If you're coming into this midway through the year and those have already kind of been looked at, we will let you know what is the next available date that you can get information out by, and we will give you a deadline. Generally, I like to say 2 weeks before your post date, so we've got time on our side to make sure everything's correct, everything's the right size, we have everything linked correctly, and then that way you don't have any surprise issues. What kind of commitment does Leadership NRV require? So it is a 10-month course. You are able to miss 2 classes. If you miss more than 2 classes, you will not be able to graduate. This happens generally on Thursdays. It's generally the 3rd Thursday of every month. and this happens all day long. When you apply for Leadership New River Valley, you will have access to all of the dates and times already so that you know if you're able to make that commitment or not. If I'm a part of CASE, can someone from my team attend in my place if I'm unavailable? It's a really great question. CASE itself is a member person held seat. So that means, say you work for XYZ company and you're leaving and going to ABC. Someone from XYZ can't immediately fill your spot, but you also are not able to immediately continue in that spot. You need to reapply for that group. If you're already in the group and you're changing jobs and you reapply, you're able to continue as long as that application is received. We generally have a wait list for CASE. So if you are leaving one company and you know it's going to be potentially a month or two before you're able to rejoin, we may have to move on down the wait list with that. You are able to have someone from your team as an alternate. However, this is a very specific situation. They still have to apply to be your alternate. And once approved, they can only come in on rare occasion. It can't be, oh, hey, I'm not going to be here every first Monday of the year or of the month. They're always going to be there. We work specifically because it's a person-held seat that's not the case. But yes, as long as someone is approved, they can be an alternate. How do I access my Chambermaster account? What if I forget my login? Great question. I showed on the website where you can go to log in through that. What you'll do is from us, we will give you the login permissions, send you an email. If you forget your login, whenever you go to login, there is the, hey, I forgot my password that you're able to do on your own. Is there a tutorial or walkthrough how to use Chambermaster features like event registration or submitting news? Yes, I did go through some of that you're able to see. But Chambermaster has their own tutorial videos that if you have any questions, you can make sure to walk through there or go through their help section. Like I said earlier, if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to help you even more. Thank you so much for watching along to this Membership 101 video. It is longer than our typical Business 101 videos, but it's very important and there's a lot of information to cover. So thank you, Chamber members. Please make sure you go out, invest, connect, engage, and prosper.